Hey guys, welcome to JPT. I'm Carson G, and this is Just Plain Tech. Today's video, I have 5 solid reasons for you to switch to Linux right now. Reason number 1, Linux is open source. Now, Microsoft Windows and Apple Mac OS are closed source, which means that only Microsoft and Apple can make kernel and software updates to the operating system. Now, Linux is the opposite of that. It is open source, which basically that means that companies, communities, and people from all around the world can contribute to the code of Linux freely. This allows Linux to advance much faster than Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. Think about it. If you have people, communities, companies, and just people from all around the world contributing to the code, bugs are going to get patched quicker. There are going to be much more new features along the way, and the operating system just advances so much quicker. And another great thing about it being open source is that you can modify anything in your system. With root access, you can literally do anything to your Linux system, including redistributing it under the GNU General Public License. 2, security. Linux is much more secure than Microsoft Windows or Apple Mac OS, simply because Microsoft Windows allows you to easily access root. It allows any apps to have access to root without a password. Linux changes this. Whenever any app, software, or code is trying to access super user privileges or root in your system, it will ask you for a password or a PIN or whatever other type of security you have set up. And if it is not entered in, it will not allow the app to take control of your system. Linux only has 3% of the user market share of consumer operating systems, so that means it's not a very big target for hackers. And Microsoft Windows has like 80 or 90 something % of the market share, so of course there are so many people using it that hackers are going to be more likely to target Microsoft Windows than they would to target Linux. Reason number 3, speed and reliability. Linux is generally so much faster than Microsoft Windows. Now, its kernel tends to run much easier, especially on older computers, so it's just faster and lighter, and also more reliable. And you have freedom and choice. There are multiple Linux distributions out there for you to try. These distributions can vary from being very full of features and just high-techy to run on your mid-range or high-end PC to get a really good and nice experience out of your computers. And on the other hand, there are also lightweight Linux distributions designed to run really well on your ancient laptop sitting in your garage. So pretty much you can run Linux on just about any computer, and with the right distribution you can get optimal performance that fits your needs and your computer's needs. And reason number 5, all the software is free. On the Ubuntu Software Center, the Software Manager on Linux Mint, whatever you're using, if you can get it off the Ubuntu store or the Software Center, it is free. And I'm not talking about on your phone where you get ads all the time or you have to pay to upgrade to the full version. No, none of that bonkiness. Full free apps that work completely, no ads, no upgrades, nothing. Just completely free, full-fledged apps. And just like Linux itself, these apps are designed by companies, communities, and people from around the world freely design these software and games for Linux. Now, speaking of games, those of you gamers out there who are wondering, can I run Steam games on Linux? Yes, you can. You can get Steam on Linux, and the majority of the games are now playable on Linux systems that meet the hardware requirements to run the game. So if your computer can run it on Windows, it can probably run the game through Steam on Linux too. So it is not a bad choice for gaming. That is kind of a thing of the past. Linux gaming has risen a lot in recent years, and Steam is now playable on Linux. Majority of the games run optimally if your computer's hardware meets the requirements to run that game. 5 solid reasons why you should switch to Linux right now. And there are more, we've just barely scratched the surface. So if you're interested in switching to Linux, stay tuned for my next video that will show you exactly how to do so. Thank you guys so much for watching, we'll see you next time.